This is a place.
This is the place?
This is a place. We want to talk about. This is a place.
Welcome to this week's episode of This is a Place podcast. My name is Nate, and with me is a guy who wants to buy a military tree for his yard, but he says it needs to have all the branches. Brandon.
Now, do you think that will include the Space Force?
I guess it will now.
I hope so. It's my favorite.
Where do you find a tree with all the branches? A military tree? At a military base? Military camp? Military store? Is that a surplus store?
The Army Navy store?
You ever been over there to the surplus store?
Uh-uh.
It's fun. It's a good time. Cool stuff over there.
Add it to the spreadsheet.
That's another place we got to visit.
You know, I feel like I live on a military base.
Practically do.
I live on live at an airport, and I just hear planes all day, every day, that frequently interrupt our podcasting. Like that one you can hear right now.
But it's very fitting for today's episode, though.
Yeah, so I won't edit it out this time around. I bring up the spreadsheet though, and you had an enjoyable time the other day adding to a list.
Yes. So we decided that since they have this new technology where you can, I think it's called a spreadsheet.
Yeah, something like that.
That you can, anyways.
You can collaborate.
It's like graph paper for those who don't know what it is yet, but
right.
You can make columns and stuff like that. But we decided, hey, it'd be a good idea to make a spreadsheet and share with each other of all the ideas that we have and the ideas that have been given for episodes that we should do. That way we can remember, because I don't know if you know this, but I'm getting old. Therefore, my memory isn't as sharp as it used to be. And there's a lot of times where I'm just driving through town and I'm like, oh, that would be a good place to do, or that would be a good place. And then I forget about it. So we made the spreadsheet and we went a little crazy. So I think we're set for the next, 3 years of episodes of ideas that we should do. But doesn't mean we still, odds are, if you have any recommendations for an episode, it's probably already on our list of places we want to do.
Perhaps.
But we still want good ideas and places. And some of our favorite episodes to do are the ones where we have a guest. So if anybody out there knows somebody who works at or owns
or wants
a cool
to
place
guest.
that we need to be guest speaker, let us know. But I think it's just gonna make things better and easier for us moving forward that we have that technology now. Just glad it was invented recently in the last, how long has Excel been around? 30 years. Thank you Google Docs. I still remember, I probably shared this before, but taking a class at in college, and it was a computer class, and the teacher was just telling us that Google was his favorite search engine and was trying to push us all to use Google because it was still relatively new, So anyways, that's how old I am, that I remember when people didn't know what Google was. It wasn't a household name yet.
Because we've been going to the gym lately, I think in part inspired the episode we have for today. Because we've been around.
Yeah, it has something to do with it.
Something to do with it. Because our gym happens to be in the township of Kearns.
Yeah. Well, to back it up a little bit, we're like, you know what? Memorial Day is coming up. So when this releases, Memorial Day will be the following Monday. We're like, what kind of military or memorial type thing can we do? And that's when we're like, hey, remember on the corner there of Big Lots at 54 South and 40th West, there used to be a cannon because this used to be an old military base. And boom, the idea for this episode was born.
That's simple.
That simple. We're like, hey, we are literally on a military base as we were at Boston Fitness thinking of what to do, right?
Yeah.
So, first off, happy Memorial Day, everybody. And thanks to those who served and are currently serving, because I tell you what, I'm a sissy and I couldn't do it. So I appreciate those who do it for me.
I second that. I do have a question. So, what's Memorial Day?
What's Memorial Day?
Because what I've always done with my family for Memorial Day is you go and you leave flowers. And I don't have any family members that have served in the military, but we still do that for. And I think that's kind of a tradition for everybody, is to leave flowers and visit the graves of anyone who's passed on, not just military members.
Well, if my history lessons are correct in my mind, in my memory, that didn't Memorial Day start right after the Civil War to remember the sacrifices of the soldiers in the Civil War, and then it just continued on from there. So it originally started out, like you kind of mentioned, it's for to remember our military men and women who have sacrificed their lives for the greater good. And it slowly turned into a Memorial Day to remember everybody's ancestors and people who've moved on. Does that sound correct?
Right, but it's more geared towards the military is how it began.
Everybody. And then from that, it's even, I feel like the last 2 decades, it's turned into more of a
kick off the
party,
summer.
tip off the summer, barbecue type stuff, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like it's kind of lost its original purpose and meaning. So,
yeah. But we're not forgetting it, because here we are talking about Camp Kearns to commemorate Memorial Day.
Just trying to do our part.
Yeah. So what was Camp Kearns, Nate? Give us the history.
Oh, you want me to be the history major on this one?
Yeah. Everybody's been
first
saying
of all,
Nate needs to do some research and read some articles, so let's do it.
I was just telling again somebody the other day, because I brought up some headline that I read. And they're like, what did the article say? And I said, I don't know. I didn't read it. Then I told them about you. I said, it didn't have anything to do with my podcast, so I didn't forward it on to Brandon. I think it has something to do with I want to say it was the pickleball, something new for pickleball. And so it says, oh, what did it say? I'm like, I don't know. I don't read.
But for a small monthly fee, you can forward those on to me anyway.
And then you can remember Cliff Notes? Is that what they were called?
You have sent me things that didn't pertain to the podcast before. You sent me some YouTube videos that I watched.
Oh, yes. That one I was just kidding, but you actually did watch them.
And I haven't been paid yet.
On them.
Just going to say that.
This is true. Hey, are we still not friends? That's
your friends? All right,
yeah.
You get the friends discount.
I've been your personal trainer for the last 12 weeks.
Okay. Fair trade.
Yeah, I've shown you how to stay round. Anyways, to start off, the Metro Township, Kearns, is named after Utah's U.S. Senator Thomas Kearns. So I didn't know that until this episode.
I didn't either.
And one thing I didn't realize too is that its population is actually fairly small. It's 36,723 as of 2020 census. So it's maybe grown with the way the population has been going here in Utah.
I mean, it's a pretty small area for a city.
Yeah, it really is. A really small area. I guess it's not
really a city.
No. And that's one thing I read too, maybe we'll get into, is kind of it was incorporated, right? Unincorporated is how you say it? Incorporated, unincorporated. And then West Jordan, West Valley were kind of fighting over having it annexed into their cities to where it became its own city or something like that, right?
Right.
to back the truck up a little bit, say Kearns came into existence back in May 1st, 1942, right before Brandon was born. Wait, your dad probably wasn't even born yet, was he?
What year did you say?
1942.
Oh yeah, no, my dad wasn't born.
So it was well, it came to existence May 1st, 1942 as a World War II United States Army Air Forces training facility known as Kearns Army Air Base. So that's probably why you hear a lot of planes still, Brandon, is to
They're not real planes,
remember
they're ghost planes.
they're ghost planes, not even real planes. Ooh. And then they changed it to Camp Kearns in January of 1944. Before then, it was just dry farms, land reserved for universities and colleges to do their studies. They had a bunch of airplane runways, hangars, several taxiways, but several hundred buildings were also constructed and quickly assembled, which I believe now, and I was trying to find information on this, the area with all the houses, the subdivision out there, they're all, for the most part, very similar, but over the years, for the last 40, 50 years, people have kind of added their own little touch or added to the property. But I believe they're old military homes, or at least
some of them,
some sort of building before, and that's kind of what laid the foundation for the, no pun intended, for the subdevelopment, for the development out there. And I've even heard people, I mean, kind of a tangent, I've bought a lot of homes in Hoffman Heights and flipped them over the years, and some homes have basements and some don't, but the history that I heard there is that all the homes were single level dwellings, that people would literally dig out their basements, like with wheelbarrows, to make a basement out there. So that's what I've heard. That's how rumors start, right? I'm starting that rumor. And then August 15th of 1946, the Air Force deactivated the base and turned the facility over to the state of Utah. And that's kind of when they started developing the neighborhood. I want to say isn't it one of the first like subdivisions in Salt Lake County, the Kearns development, outside of Salt Lake City? So the old streets and foundations of buildings built by the military were used as a template, like I just said, for the town, and homes sprang up quickly as Kearns was becoming the first suburb in Salt Lake County. By the 1970s and into the 1980s, when I finally came along, suburban development expanded west of the railroad tracks to 5600 West. And that's in the 1990s is when they started fighting over if it should be annexed into West Valley or West Jordan. And it sounds like the Kearns residents didn't want that to happen. So, did you see the part where about Kearns Junior High School, what it used to be? The color personnel.
you have to do the air quotes because we're quoting an article here.
And a base chapel is now part of Our Lady Perpetual Help Catholic Church. I didn't know that. I kind of want to go check out that church now, because that's got to be some cool history over there.
It's the only church I know of that does a Christmas light display.
Oh, really?
I've never seen a church that puts Christmas lights all over it. That one does.
Huh.
So that's
maybe we got a Christmas episode coming up.
There you go.
Pull out the spreadsheet, Brandon.
So what I'd always heard, and can't find anything to back it up, but I had a lot of friends growing up from my neighborhood that went to Kearns Junior High, and they always told me it was, well, that of course it was something related to Camp Kearns, but more specifically, and maybe this was just fun junior high myths.
Folklore.
Folklore, that it was it was a jail in the basement. That spot was where they had a jail of some sort. So they had all these stories of scary.
That doesn't really make sense. I mean, it could be like a military jail.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
yeah, I just don't see much
It
crime
doesn't make
going on a
sense.
military base.
It's still
Um,
it was just a fun thing for them to say, and I believed them because I didn't go there, so I couldn't
sure,
verify.
I'm sure it's still haunted though. So
Every school is haunted.
every school is haunted. But kind of mentioned earlier, the cannon that used to be on the corner of 54th and 40th West, right in front of the Big Lots, was there forever. Um, I did not know this, which I probably should have. I'm usually pretty observant when I'm out driving around and remember things, but I don't know how many times I've driven past the Kearns Oval, and we even did an episode on the Kearns Oval just a few months ago. But they moved that memorial from 54th and 40th West over in front of the Oval, which is it's pretty cool. It's probably a little bit more, what's the word, respectful or quiet, considering not being on 54th and 40th.
Right.
Um, it's really
And all the
cool.
construction they did, that's probably why they moved it.
Yeah,
Because
you still got
that was the
Cougar
original
Lane.
flagpole. Is that what it said?
What's that?
That location was the original flagpole
Oh,
of
54th. It was the not flagpole, but like um the base, like the what do you call it?
the head. It was the headquarters flagpole.
Headquarters. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, so that was like that
So
was like
that's
the
why they had it there. But to your point, it's a better location over by the Oval.
yeah, it's more respectful, I think, and it's got more place to sit down, and they got cool benches you can sit on, and they had the cannon there and a few little plaques and things like that to remember the sacrifices of those who served. So, and there's even a little plaque with people. It says, for these brave Kearns youth who gave the supreme sacrifice, killed in action. And obviously this was past the World War II because it goes from 1966 to 71. So a lot of cool stuff over there. It's a really cool memorial. They've got flags as well. But one thing they had, which I was curious, I sent you pictures, right, Brandon? There's like this little, what would you call it? Almost like a small flame thing, torch or something. Do you see that little silver bowl?
Yeah. What is
Like,
it?
I'm not 100% sure what that is because there was no plaque or anything explaining what it is. And it looks like it has a cover on it that's locked.
Is it a time capsule, maybe?
It could be a time capsule. That's a good point. But I'm like, or could it be something to do with the Oval and a flame? Like they take it off and light it on fire and it becomes a torch, a big torch type thing.
I can't find anything that specifies what it is, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was something like that. But that's cool.
But can I tell you something that's probably a little embarrassing?
Of course you
This
can.
memorial, Camp Kearns Memorial, has been there since 2004. But that cannon has been there for so long that my mind, it's still there. Like I still,
oh yeah.
like
Same.
I think even when we were in Vasa parking lot, I like looked over the corner and I'm like, wait, where
Where'd
did it
the
go?
cannon
But it's just like, it feels like it was just yesterday. I can't believe it's been that long. But I'm like, oh yeah, they moved it. You know what I mean? I keep forgetting they moved it, but my mind, it's still there because it was there for so long.
Right. And how many times we've driven past it
Oh yeah,
and we don't connect, oh, that's the cannon. It's just
it's gone.
It's
But in my
still
mind,
54.
I still like in my mind, it's going to be there. Like I
Yeah.
still think it's going to be there when I drive by. But
I know exactly what you mean.
just, I guess not really embarrassing, but just crazy to think that it's been that long since they've moved it. And
Well, the crazy thing to me is how quickly they turned this wheat field into a city and all these base camps. Look, man, there's apparently a housing crisis. What was so much more efficient back then than what we have now?
well, if you've been over to Hoffman Heights, Kearns area, they were just simple brick homes,
But
just
livable. You could live in
livable. And
something
they
like that.
still, people are still living in them for crying out loud.
And they're going for a lot of money.
I tell you what, though, talking up building, this is another tangent, but I went to my office today. You know me, I go like once, maybe twice a month. But I forget what building they just, we're in the US Bank building downtown, and the building right to the north of it, northwest of it, they're tearing it down as we speak. And they're going to build like a 33-story apartment complex. But there's just so many apartments going in downtown. And it's crazy to think we can't keep up with demand. So might be time to move out of state, Brandon. I think we've talked about this before, haven't we?
Our podcast will be no longer if you move out of state, Nate. You can't move.
What's Idaho's? Well, I don't want to go to Idaho either. They're even more. Montana. What's Montana's? This is a mountain. This is a place. This is a. Actually, that's going the wrong direction. That means more snow up there. We got to go south.
We got to go south?
South. We got to go so far south to nobody knows what a snowblower is. Then we stay.
Why you want to go to Montana?
Yeah.
No brainer, man. Georgia's where it's at.
Yes. I want to go to, is it Peachtree, Georgia?
My dad was just
community.
there.
Is that where they drive around in golf carts? The whole community, like you can drive the whole community, and it's like something like 20, I don't know, it's big. You drive around the golf carts, like you go through McDonald's and everything in golf carts. That's what I want.
And yet Kearns is still considered small. So some cool things of note that were here back in the day were the largest rifle range in the West, the second largest in the nation, and Utah's second largest hospital. One of the largest dental installations in the United States with state-of-the-art equipment. There's also 4 fire stations, 5 chapels, 3 theaters, 2 large gymnasiums, 16 mess halls, and at least 5 post-exchange stores. A huge warehouse complex and 2 big service clubs. So all that, we don't have a whole lot of remnants of what Camp Kearns was back in the heyday. I mean, it sounds like some cool things happened. Cool people came here back in the day, or came to Kearns. We had Harry Truman, president, Louis Armstrong, Nat King Cole. And there were a lot of local amateur baseball players in the area.
Yeah, Kearns High School has a really cool stadium because I believe one of their alum went to the major leagues and donated a lot of money for their little stadium there.
Yeah, it is
It's like a little minor league park. It's really nice. You forgot to mention that we've visited Kearns multiple times.
Yeah.
We're famous too.
The Wikipedia page.
Yes.
But yeah, we couldn't figure out where, you mentioned the Hoffman Heights, we couldn't figure out where that name came from.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything about it. So if anybody is from the Kearns area, or even Hoffman Heights for that matter, it knows the history of why it's called Hoffman Heights, let us know. I assumed for years that that's just the name of what, because I knew it was an old military base, but I assumed it was called Hoffman Military Base. So I was wrong.
I did find a little something going back to my speculation of the haunted stuff that I heard about. It says that the base closed in 1946 and a lot of stuff was just broken down. The 2006 history of Kearns Junior High, which has started as an Army theater and was remodeled and expanded many times, records that students through the years reported hearing crying in the auditorium when no one was there. Adults and others reported seeing or hearing ghosts. One cheerleader said she saw a man who had been shot in the head. Others, more pleasantly, have reported hearing coins drop in the hallway around them, but turn and see the area deserted, while some report hearing whispering in various rooms, but no one was seen.
Scary.
I know I found an article that said they were trying to a museum to memorialize Camp Kearns and the people who passed through here, but haven't heard anything about this, and that was back in 2007, so don't know if we're going to see a museum anytime soon or not. But that would be cool.
Yeah. It would be. The fun thing about Kearns that we've already mentioned is the history. There's a lot of history there. There's a lot of old buildings still still around, but a lot of new development as well. Just a cool little township.
And they have a mayor now, as of 2015.
Yeah, they just voted to become a
Did you
city,
say that?
right? No, I don't think I said that. Mayor Goldie Wilson. And
Yeah.
we need to do a whole episode on this too. I think if you have a chance to, we need to do an episode. The Kearns Library is fairly new. It's within the last couple of years. Really cool library to go visit. So you could even do a podcast out of Kearns Library because they have the equipment there for you to do it.
Yeah, that's your own little studio.
You should do it.
That we also failed to mention that daycare over by the Oval was something to do with the military.
The daycare?
Yeah, the base train station is now a daycare center.
Oh, okay.
So over there by where the cannon is pretty close to that daycare center.
Interesting.
So yeah, a lot of history that we don't even realize is in our own backyard. And this is definitely not the only military-related former base or, there's lots.
Location we could do that you're saying?
There's also all sorts throughout Utah, so it's cool to dig in a little bit into the history and find out, the people that walked here before us.
Yeah, that would be like my grandpa's age. He served in World War II, but he was from North Dakota, not Kearns. So very, very recently that we've had, there's probably some good stories that people in Kearns have and could tell you of.
Yeah, so if you or anyone has some cool stories about Camp Kearns, or let us know.
And again, thank you to those who served and are currently serving so that I don't have to. Well, here's a question for you real quick. Do you go to the graves on Sunday or actual Memorial Day? I feel like both days, even Saturday through Monday, are usually days people visit, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys have a tradition?
I think it's been Sunday sometimes, but it used to be we would go make all the rounds as a family on Monday and then end up at this down in Fairfield, where we also have some family members buried, but it's been a while since I've participated in that, so I guess it just kind of depends.
We go to Sunday, we go to Payson Sunday before Memorial Day, the day before Memorial, go to Payson. That's where my mom's family is basically buried. So we go down there and pay our respects. Then
just hang on Monday.
Oh, just hang on Monday.
Thanks for listening to This Is a Place podcast.
See you next week.